A Chinese lab just dropped an AI model that goes toe-to-toe with Claude Fable, one of the best models on the planet, and beats it on a bunch of benchmarks. The kicker? In a few days, you'll be able to download the whole thing for free. It's called Kimi K3, and it made this week one of the wildest weeks in AI in months. So let's run through all of it. Kimi, 4 more big releases, and a math problem that stood for 87 years until an AI cracked it. Quick intro if you're new here. This is Towards AI, and we're good at 2 things: training AI engineers and deploying AI solutions at scale. Let's start with the big one, Kimi K3 from Moonshot AI. It's huge, 2.8 trillion parameters and a million token context window. But forget the size for a second. The real story is that a model you can just download got this close to the best closed models on the market. How close? On the public benchmarks, it's trading blows with Claude Fable and GPT-5.6 Sol, and it beats them outright on a bunch of coding and agent tasks. And it's not just the public numbers. Our co-founder Louis-Francois ran K3 through our own internal benchmark, and it came out on top ahead of Fable. We've since made that test a lot harder, and we'll be sharing the new version soon, so keep an eye out for that. It's not flawless though. K3's weak spot is plain factual reliability. It'll constantly tell you things that are just wrong. So think of it as a great engine for getting work done, not the thing you trust to remember every fact. There's also the cost, which is sneakier than the leaderboards make it look. Per token, K3 is cheaper than OpenAI or Anthropic, but that number lies a little. Because K3 is chatty, it uses way more tokens to reach the same answer, so most of these savings quietly disappear. And downloadable doesn't mean cheap to run. The model file is over a terabyte before it even touches memory, and we need GPU clusters worth many millions to run. In fact, demand at launch was so heavy that Moonshot had to pause new signups within 2 days. Their own servers couldn't keep up. More and more, the real cost of AI isn't the model, it's serving it. Okay, that's Kimi, but it was a stacked week, so here's the rest of it. Alibaba teased Qwen 3.8, another trillion parameter model, though the release was kind of a mess. There's no API, no benchmarks, no model card, and right now you can only use it inside Alibaba's own apps, which makes it really hard to take seriously yet. They're branding it second only to Fable 5, but that's their claim, not a tested result. XAI open-sourced the coding tool behind Grok Build, with pretty awkward timing. It came just days after a security researcher caught Grok Build quietly uploading people's entire code repos to XAI servers, secrets and all, even when it wasn't asked to. XAI says that's turned off by default now and the data is being deleted. Then there's Thinking Machines, the startup from ex-OpenAI CTO Mira Murari. They shipped their first model, Inkling, now the strongest US open weights model out there. OpenAI showed off GPT-Red, a system built to attack its own models and toughen them up. Apparently it outhunts human red teamers at finding prompt injection holes, and not by a little. And one for anyone paying for Claude, Anthropic rolled its top Fable 5 model into the Max and Team premium plans, so it's a part of the standard subscription now instead of a costly extra. One last thing, and it's the part I find most interesting. Put the whole week together and a pattern jumps out. AI is starting to improve itself. Coding agents are speeding up the engineers building the next models. Stronger models are generating the training data and the tests for the models that come after them. That GPT-Red system we just mentioned, that's literally AI making other AI better. And here's the proof it's not just hype. This week, a mathematician at Anthropic working with Fable solved a problem that had been open since 1939, the Jacobian conjecture, by building an example experts swore it couldn't exist. Other researchers checked the math, and it holds up. So why did this happen in math first? Because math is easy to verify. An answer is either right or it isn't, no arguing about it. And that fast and clean feedback is exactly what these systems need to find real answers. So what do you do with all of this? If you're building, K3 is now a real option for coding and agentic work that used to demand the most locked down US models. It is also a great option for writing. Just judge it on cost per finished task and whether you can get capacity, not its leaderboard rank. US-based inference options should be available next week. We still think Codex and Claude Code harnesses are best in class, so you may wish to integrate K3 as a model option in these and test it as a sub-agent to reduce costs. If you're doing research, the leverage is in verification. Solid tests and formal checks are becoming the fuel for that whole self-improvement loop. And if you work on policy, you can't unrelease weights. Once K3 is out, any rule written after that is regulating files the world already has. And that's the week. If breakdowns like this are useful to you, consider subscribing to our newsletter, especially if you're an engineer who'd rather understand the trade-offs than the hype. It's where we go a lot deeper than we can in a few minutes here every single week. Links in the description. See you in the next one.